The life of an orb-weaving spider finds its beginning when a female of the species lays her eggs and covers them in a specially designed web cocoon. When the time is right, usually early in spring, hundreds of tiny spiderlings will use a special tooth designed to help them cut through the protective cocoon and enter into their new world. A procedure called ballooning will take them off on a journey to a new home. With their little spinnerets pointed up to catch the passing breeze, they begin to release a fine silk thread that catches the warm updrafts of wind and carries them away, riding to new and distant places where they'll settle in and make their home. From the time of birth, these spiderlings have an instinct to build webs. Without the web, they would surely die, as this is how they will eat and survive. Over their short lifetime, which lasts about a season, many webs will be carefully and skillfully spun and constructed. The spider uses its opposing legs as a ruler. She gently pulls the silk from her spinnerets and precisely attaches her new webbing to earlier positioned web spokes that radiate from the center of the larger web. She'll continue around in a circular motion, winding inward toward the center, which when complete creates this orb or spiral, and that's why the name orb weaver. Completed and sticky, she'll wait at the center of the web for a flying or crawling insect to venture into her trap. Once stuck in the web and struggling, the vibrations are picked up by the spider, who quickly moves to the prey, rapidly wraps it up in web, and then injects its victim with venom to subdue it. She'll continue wrapping and will later dine on the captured meal. This was the same spider, now a young adult, that found her way and made her home in the holly bush next to the deck in my backyard. I was to become captivated by her and enjoy her spider ways through the warm days of summer. I would take her off her web from time to time to film her. She didn't seem to mind and put on a good show for the camera as she modeled her brown and white speckled body, doing the things that spiders do best: crawling, climbing, and producing web. Many times she would crawl around on my hands and arms as I filmed her activities. She never once bit me, nor did I ever expect her to. Most spiders will not bite unless provoked or hurt in some way. I watched her build webs and produce silk from her spirited spinnerets. It was amazing to me that one of these spiders can produce up to 60 feet of spun web in an hour. And they can also produce up to 6 or 7 different types of webbing as well. The same diameter of a spider's silk web, when compared to a strand of steel of the same diameter, can be up to 6 times stronger than that of steel. I find them to be amazing little creatures that help control some of the insect population, keep it in check, as well as provide food for birds and other animals. As summer was drawing to a close and cooler weather was at hand, I thought about taking her inside. I put her in a large aquarium, and she quickly obliged and spun a very nice web and began catching the flies I provided for her. By late fall, I started to see a change in her behavior. She took down her web and would not rebuild it. The flies she once had dined on were now just being ignored, even if they had walked right up in front of her. I was wondering if maybe she was sick or just beginning to slow down because of her age. I provided her with a fine misting of water, which she would take from her legs and pass through her mouth to drink, but no real change in her behavior. She just became plain lethargic. It was one morning around 4 a.m. I woke and went to the kitchen for a drink of water, and I happened to check in on her. Now I understood. She was with eggs and was preparing to lay them and to build a special cocoon to protect them. Nothing else mattered now. I was shocked at her appearance. She looked old, shriveled up, and it seemed to take all her energy just to apply the final layers of special silk to her eggs. She was using the last of her energy and bodily protein to produce the needed web to secure the survival of her offspring. She was giving her life for the life of her children that would emerge in the spring. By morning, her sack was completed. It was hard to watch her struggle just to move even over short distances. Couldn't help but remember how her younger life of energy and the appearance of her younger body, which now was showing its age and weariness. And then she did one final act of motherly love, or some would say just survival instinct. She captured all the flies that were left in the aquarium, didn't feast on them herself, but rather stuck them to her egg sac for her young, that would never even eat them later on when they were born. I took her outdoors so that she might once again enjoy her old home she had made amongst the holly bush, and there it was she spent her last day, moving around slowly from branch to branch, pausing to quiver from exhaustion and starvation. I enjoyed watching and learning from her that summer. It sounds strange to say that I will miss her, but after all, she's just a spider. But may I say that I have come to enjoy all of God's creatures, both large and small, and we're all here for just a short time in life. The greater thing I can say is I enjoyed watching her and observing her as a spider. She carefully made her way to a leaf. Shuddered once, tucked her legs in, and she was gone. The best of all, someday, this coming spring, I will get to see her offspring when the dead of winter is over and spring bursts forth to usher in new life.